gentlemen, we have a very special guest this evening. He is the two-time champion and gold medalist of the men's German volleyball team. We are very lucky to have him with us tonight. Please welcome Jordan Shunk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Jordan, let's start off by asking you about the training program you've been taking.
All right.
What are your first thoughts on the training camp?
This is my second time taking the training camp, so I have a lot of ideas and things that we could talk about. For one, I'm gonna start talking about the things I disliked about the course. One being that because this is my second time taking the course, at the beginning of the course we decided that we would start from the basics again because some people were taking for the first time, obviously. So for the people who've already done it, it was not only a little bit boring, but we've already done it, so we already knew the basics. And we had a lack of motivation right from the beginning. So if possible, for the next time, Lessa, the program owner, he could try to do something else with the people who are taking the course for a second time. Now for things that I do like, I definitely love the idea of playing two series. Throughout the camp, we did a lot of series of games and game-type scenarios, which allowed us to get a lot of touches on the balls, meaning that we definitely improved on our skill level, and that definitely helped a lot. Moments that I did enjoy the most, I have to say, were getting to meet new people. If I hadn't taken it, I definitely wouldn't have met the friends that I did due to the volleyball program.
Now, is there anything that you could change about it to make it better?
Yeah, like I said, at the beginning of the course, I wouldn't have the people who are taking it for a second time do it again.
So overall, you've enjoyed taking the training camp?
So far, I have definitely enjoyed taking the training camp. It has helped a lot.
Okay. What are your top 3 reasons why volleyball has made you a better person or athlete?
It has definitely made me a better athlete, both mentally and physically. Starting off with mentally, it has helped me realize that all sports are very mental. Volleyball being one of the main mental sports, as in tight decisions, you have to make the proper decision to get a point, or you're always under pressure to make that perfect pass, or do you go from a volley to a bump? You have to make a split-second decision, which is all mental. And you see this in basketball and in football and in every other sport. Football, you see that, do I throw it to this receiver, do I throw it to that receiver? They're all very mental. Volleyball has definitely helped me physically as well. It has helped me with my legs, especially, seeing as it is a sport where it requires a lot of leg usage due to spikes and bumps and volleys and all that stuff. So getting low to the ground all the time definitely gave you a leg workout. As you can see now, I'm a lot more unhealthy compared to before because during the volleyball season you're a lot more physically active, and that definitely helped a lot. Lastly, the thing that I do dislike about myself, and that it has caused me to be a little bit more competitive, which is a negative thing, I think. It is good to be competitive in certain ways, but I have a negative way of being competitive. So I need to definitely improve on that, and hopefully throughout the rest of the training camps that I do take in the future, they can help me get rid of that, because I do sometimes yell at my teammates.
What are your top 3 tips for coaches' strategy for up-and-coming coaches?
Throughout this training camp, we had the chance to take a coaching course. I unfortunately wasn't able to, but a lot of my teammates were. So I have to really give an answer on what I think, and one of the main things that I think a coach definitely needs is the ability to be calm in high tense situations. In volleyball, you get a lot of things like bad ref calls, you're down by points on a game point. And you definitely need to be a calm coach. You cannot yell, you cannot freak out. You need to be calm about the decisions you make, which forces your players, or not forces, but it helps your players be calm as well. Because if they have a high tension coach, then the players are going to be high tension, and it's just going to eventually cause them to react in a negative way. So the coach definitely needs to be calm, causing the players to be calm as well.
What should they always consider, and why are your tips important?
Well, actually, let me go over a couple more tips, because we still have a couple more tips to go over that I still think that we need to cover. The second one is that the coach needs to definitely use his timeouts in a correct way. Now you may wonder, how's that a coaching tip? It is a coaching strategy, I think, that many coaches overthink or don't use properly. Timeouts are a very crucial thing, especially in the sport of volleyball, because it can ice a server, meaning that the server is going to serve the ball, and it can affect his service, because now he has to think about it when he's in that timeout. You would never want to use your timeouts too early in the game, because you only get 2 during volleyball, right? And that causes you to, it causes you to have less time to use those, or it causes, I don't know what I'm saying really, to be honest, but you definitely got to use your timeouts wisely. Okay, what were your questions again? Sorry.
What should they always consider? Why are your tips important, and how can they help?
Tips are they always need to consider that whatever they do is how their players will react as well. So if you coach a certain way, a coach especially actually needs to have a good communication. I forgot to say that actually. In order for a coach to be a good coach, he needs to communicate with his team. Your team may have a good play, which is great, but there's always something, and I guarantee there's always something that you need to fix. So the coach could definitely take advantage of that and try to fix that problem. And, obviously be polite a bit, but be definitely encouraging to the team. Always be encouraging to the team, especially when they're down. Your team will be down, I guarantee it, especially when they're losing to a team that they know they can beat. But you can never let that affect your team. You got to be calm, again, and you got to encourage them and communicate to them that they are better than what they are doing.
Next question. What are your top 3 tips for volleyball dummies for service and forehand passing?
Okay, so I actually drew a diagram for these techniques, because I really can't act them out on stage here. So these are stick figures, obviously, because I'm not very good at drawing. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is passing the ball. Number 1, we're going to go over getting low. By getting low, that means that you need to definitely bend your knees and get as low to the ground as possible. This enables you to be able to move quicker to get under the ball, because if you're standing up, there's no way you're going to get low to the ground. And then especially, you always use your legs as your power to put the ball up in the air. So being low to the ground will definitely help with both of those. Secondly, I said you need to face your target. So here we have a target, and here we have the athlete. What Coach Lessa taught us was that when we are passing the ball, we'd always want to have our belly button facing the target, right? Because that's our center of our body. Wherever your arms are and you're passing that ball and you're facing is where the ball is going to go. So if you're facing the wall, or your arms are not in the center of your body and your belly button's not facing that target, then you're probably going to shank the ball, meaning that it's not going to go to the target. And then lastly, we have forward posture, meaning that when you are getting low and in your ready position, you want to make sure that your shoulders are over your knees. This allows you to get the ball up and be low to the ground. It also enables you to make sure that if ever caught in any situations where the ball's hit hard at you, that you do not fall backwards and lose your balance because that will force a bad pass.
Now, are these for service or forearm passing?
These are for forearm passing. So we are going to go over service now. So number 4 here is the first tip for service. I learned this at the camp as well. You always need to toss the ball in front of your hitting arm. So whether you're right-handed or left-handed, the ball always has to be in front of that hitting arm. Because if the ball is in the center of your body or in the opposite way, it's obviously going to make it a lot harder, and you're going to eventually hit across your body, causing the ball to go in the wrong direction or causing the serve to mess up. So you always want to make sure that it is in the middle of, sorry, not in the middle, but right in front of your hitting arm. Next we need to make sure that our arm is fully extended. Okay, now what I mean by that is if you put your arm straight up in the air, that is where you should be contacting the ball. Your hitting arm should be contacting the ball. So when you toss that needs to be at your highest point so that it hits that high contact point and you can follow through and hit that straight. That will cause the ball to have more elevation on it and cause it to actually go over the net, because if you toss it too low, obviously you're going to have a lot more difficulty serving the ball, right? So you want to get that full extension. And then lastly, we have follow through. Follow through meaning where your arm is at the end of the serve, and what we want for that is wherever you want to serve is where you want to follow through with that arm. If you follow through all the way across your body, the ball is probably going to go across court. But you want to make sure that you keep the ball in front of you. So if you want to hit line, then you toss that ball in front. You hit the ball and you follow through in the direction of the line. Okay? Those are the 3 tips that I have for service and the 3 tips that I have for forearm passing.
So with putting all these tips together, it could make future volleyball players superstars if they follow them, right?
Of course. Especially with the service. Service is such a big thing in volleyball that a lot of people don't realize. If you have good service, your team will win, I guarantee, 100% of the time. Follow through is especially a big thing as well. Like I said, if you have a good follow through, you can aim that serve, and then you can pick the weak passers or the seams for a team. Again, passing is, again, a very, very crucial part of the sport. If you have a good pass, you can obviously get that ball up in the air, and it will cause your team to set up and be able to run plays. If you don't have a pass, you can't run the play.
What are your 2 personal biggest goals for the future to achieve?
My 2 biggest goals right now would be, 1, finding a job. I do currently have a job, and I don't mind that, but I am finished school in the next few days, and I'd like to find a full-time job where they do pay a little bit more money. Now, the reason I want that is so that I can get money for schooling, because I do know how expensive schooling is, and I'd like to help my parents out in paying for my schooling and setting up a future for myself. So getting work is my main priority right now, and then secondly is obviously going to post-secondary school. I plan to do something in the sorts of policing or CBSA. So through my work and the money, I hope to be able to pay for that schooling and then be able to go to that schooling, and that's what my main 2 goals are right now, schooling and work, because that's going to set up the rest of my future.
Now for our last question, is there any other information from the sport or program you see to fit into this whole interview?
So, like I said before, I definitely want some new things, especially near the beginning of the course. Again, we already know this technique and the steps, especially for the more advanced players. So maybe trying something new for them. I definitely like the idea of the coaching and the reffing. Definitely keep that going, because that will help people in the future, and that is definitely something that looks good on a resume. If possible, definitely incorporate more field trips, because field trips, really definitely bond the class together, and they also somehow give us a better, can definitely better our playing, especially if we played in an actual volleyball court. The beach was a lot of fun this year, and it sucks that we had to do it in the cold, but that's okay. Overall, the course is great. I definitely recommend it to anybody. I definitely take it again if I were obviously still in high school, but that's not the case anymore. I'd like to thank Lessa for running the course and, taking the time to put the course together. and really teach everybody what he knows about volleyball. He's definitely a great coach and a great person overall. And I'd like to thank my fans for obviously supporting me throughout my play in Germany, and we hope that we do get in the next Olympics, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Jordan Chung, everybody.
Thank you.